Look at that. The city of Jacksonville. Beautiful. You know what I really wish you could bet on? The rain. The weather. I've always been a big believer in betting on the weather. It would be absolutely fantastic and fun. But as far as I know, you can't do it yet. We are on day, how many of rain? I know you were on vacation. I think we're 12 straight days of rain around here in Jacksonville. And it's getting to be a bit much. But there it is. If you're outside, just know that you're probably going to get wet at some point during the day. We're back on a Saturday morning on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. My name is Kasey Kuhrts. Nick in the daytime, Nick in the middle. I believe your legal name is Nick Petty, back from vacation. It is Petty, right? Oh, that's my fault.
Yeah.
I saw you were getting set,
No,
and I still went to you anyway.
There's like an echo going on back here that I'm tripped out by.
Okay, so it's interesting you bring up the echo.
You had it?
So the other day when I was doing the Scrap House, by the way, Scrap House, Wednesdays, 7 p.m.? I should know.
Is that a set time, or is it just whenever the match, the whole show?
No. So the main show is Wednesday at 7.
Oh, okay.
And then we go on after some WWE pay-per-views from time to time.
Oh, I thought it was just on after like the pay-per-views. Okay.
No. It's a regularly scheduled program plus some extras that we just turn on and go. So that echo that you cannot hear on the air. So if you're watching right now, you're like, what are they talking about? I had that echo extremely loud in my ear the entire Scrap House episode.
Yikes.
I could not get rid of it. Austin couldn't hear it because Austin is in Vegas training for his UFC fight.
You're back here thinking you're going nuts?
Dude, I don't know how my brain didn't combust. And I'm not going to lie to you. When we just started the show and I heard the echo in my ears, I was like, we're not getting through this show. That was my first immediate thought. That's also why I called Jacksonville Jacksonville, because the echo at that moment popped in my ear. I was like, oh, crap. Here we go again. But that is fixed. I don't know what you did, but I appreciate it.
I got to make sure, like, can people even hear us right now? That's what I'm concerned about at the moment, but I think we're okay. I just flipped. It's like the aux in back here. Just like, no. All right, it's gone now.
I mean, yeah, if you can see
good.
us talking and you can't hear us, somebody give me a hearty thumbs down.
We're good on YouTubes. We're good on YouTubes.
All right. That's all that really matters. Hopefully you can hear us on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. It is officially – thanks,
Sweet,
Amanda.
thank you.
It is now officially titled, this program on Saturday mornings from 10 to 12, The Show That Has No Name. That's what we're going with. That's what we're stuck with.
I like it.
I said if it makes it 3 weeks, we're sticking with it. Week 1, we did it. Week 2 last week, bit of a debacle. We'll get into in a second. And now we're here for week 3. This is officially a show that has no name, which I kind of like because if betting falls apart for us in college football, we can just transition to like tennis and nobody would know because it's a show that has no name. We can talk about whatever we want. We're not pigeonholed into one
backhand, forehand, whatever it is.
Wow, that's a lot of tennis right there.
That's all I know.
I got a free, I got a profit boost on tennis when the U.S. Open was just happening. Hammered some dude with a bunch of letters in his name, none of them vowels. He did not win. So that was a debacle.
Full strategy.
Yeah, you do what you got to do. So yeah, we're back on the air. Last week, I couldn't get the microphones to work. I know that sounds stupid, but I could not get them to work. Nick was out of town, probably chasing chocolate milk in New York. And I decided I'm calling it. So you saw the Scrap House, the one with the echo. Or no, that wasn't the echo one. That was a normal one. And then you saw me and Brent talking Jags betting for a little bit last Saturday. But as far as I know, Nick doesn't have any more vacation planned for a good little bit.
No.
I'd love to hear that. So the show that has no name will, I believe, continue on unless we get canceled for something that may or may not happen throughout the show today. How was the trip to New York, Nick? We missed you.
It was actually pretty good. No chocolate milk this time, surprisingly. The day that I was going to try and find it, breakfast had chocolate milk then and was just done with it. So I was like, we're not chasing any.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
But no, the trip was good. We went east of Lake George. It was like a lake trip.
Cool.
Kind of way out in the sticks.
Okay.
Nice, quiet. Kayaked for the first time. You know, I can't swim or can't confidently swim.
Okay, that's right. I forgot you couldn't swim. So what was the plan if you fell out of the kayak? Just it was it? That was it?
Well, it was a bit of
Nobody
don't
would've
panic.
found you?
Try to get back to the surface. Tell everybody else. Call someone else to come get me.
Try to get back to the surface is absolutely foul. I feel like I would not kayak if there was a chance of drowning. Like if I can swim, so it's fine. But I don't think I would do any activity that I'm surrounded by water and a small object, which is not like the most sturdy thing. I flipped
No.
a kayak, so I mean, anybody could do it.
The entire time it was about my concern is don't flip this, don't flip this, don't flip. And I'm just like, as I'm rowing, I'm learning, like whatever side you row, you kind of have to counteract or counterbalance, and then it goes because it's like that. And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of have the hang, but I'd slow down and then wiggle a little bit and it'd roll, and I'm like, nope, it's not cool.
Yeah, that's about right.
But no, it was a fun trip. Like doing that and doing some of the other stuff and just hanging out with the girlfriend and all her friends was actually a lot of fun.
Good for you. Good for you. You say what you got to say. She's probably listening. I get it. Hanging out with all of her
No,
friends.
she's asleep.
Oh, good. I like that.
Yeah,
Good
she's
for
got to
her.
work tonight.
I wish that was us. But all right, here we are. We move on. We talk college football. We talk NFL. We're going to talk a lot of betting. I have a best bet for every single NFL game, so we will get to that as we go along. We've got show picks to make against the other shows, being Brent and Austin, being Miller and Moulton, being Young and Norvell. Listen, I'm not a genius, right? But the creative around here, hey, let's just copy and paste all the names. Miller and Moulton. Cool. You know what we should do? Brent and Austin. Awesome. You know what else we should do? Young and Norvell. Hey, somebody. They were yelling at me for calling the show a show that has no name. At least it's not Nick and Kasey. I mean, come on. We got to be better around here. But anyway, we'll compete against them in all the picks. You weren't here last week. I had to make the picks for us. We went 4-2.
Sweet.
Not bad. I was an idiot. I believed in Colorado. So that was my fault. I did pick Tennessee for us. So
Nice.
how about that? So we will do that in a little bit. We will start with the NFL, though. We will start with fantasy football because...
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I have been running multiple fantasy leagues, and one I got a major debacle in that I'll tell you about in a second involving Brett Martineau's son, Ty Martineau. We'll get to that in a little bit. But this fantasy league I've been running, which is a yearly redraft situation. I've been running this league for, 10, 11 years. Way longer than that, like 15 years, actually. Long before you were supposed to be putting money on fantasy football at the age of like 11 years old. It started as a 6-team league with my neighbors. We're now 12 teams. Usually a pretty easy fill. This year I had to go get Nick and said, Nick, please, I need you. I don't know why everyone's not getting in this league. So anyway, we get in. Everything's fine. I got accused of cheating a little bit because I ended up with the first overall pick. That is a random thing assigned by ESPN. Well, didn't work out for me.
Maybe not.
So with that information, now you then know I tell you now that I'm in another fantasy league that's a redraft with some other, not big money, but kind of, you know what I mean? Got number one pick in that league as well. So, what did I do? I did what anybody else would have done. I didn't look at anybody else. The first name on my board was Christian McCaffrey. I think that's pretty standard. The guy's unstoppable when he plays. He hadn't been injured in a while, right? He had that thing in Carolina and then came to San Francisco and has been super healthy. Cool, I said. I'll pick him, I said. So I picked him, both leagues. Number one overall, 1-1. Doubled down. The mistake. Doubled down. So I fast forward to last week where, actually, I fast forward through the draft where at no point, I've been playing fantasy football for like 15 years. At no point did I consider to draft whoever the backup was for the 49ers, right? And I'm better than that. But Elijah Mitchell was like hurt already. And I was like, I don't know who the third running back for the 49ers is. He never plays. Like, I'm not picking this guy. It'll be fine. I had no idea McCaffrey was like, well, I mean, I saw the little questionable thing by his name, but he always has questionable. So I was like, all right, that's fine. So I don't pick whatever guy's name is that went off last week. I don't have any other Jets or 49ers last week, as you know, Monday Night Football. I had Xavier Worthy on my bench, who had 20-plus points. That would have been cool. Nope. I had McCaffrey, ready to go in my flex position. I said, this guy's going to bring it home. McCaffrey on Friday says he's going to play. I'm like, cool, nothing to worry about. You know what happens, folks? There's no reason to be anticlimactic about it like I'm trying to. He does not play in the football game. The 49ers apparently don't tell anybody when they should have, which I believe should be prosecuted by the full extent of the law. I'm really not sure why Kyle Shanahan isn't in jail, because apparently the running back dude knew that he was starting on Friday. So why didn't I know? As a fantasy manager, I'm basically part of the coaching staff for the 49ers. And Kyle Shanahan's not telling anybody that McCaffrey's not going to play, so that's a debacle. He doesn't play. I get a fat 0 for my number 1 overall pick. Believe it or not, I end up winning one of the leagues because Brian Middleton, who you know, if you watch the network or watch when we were on radio side, had the Jets defense, who absolutely could not stop the third-string running back of the 49ers. They end up getting negative points. I end up winning. It's fine. Other league got squashed. Shout out to McCaffrey. And now he goes on IR. Am I the idiot? Like, is it me? Is this a me thing? Am I the stupid one?
No.
Anybody would have done this, right?
What is, like, can we tell the percentage of people that would have taken McCaffrey 1-1?
100%. Did anybody take anybody else?
98%.
Like, the only other conversation is what? Bijan Robinson? I'm not doing that.
No.
CeeDee Lamb? Maybe.
Maybe.
But, like, I wasn't doing it. Like, it never even crossed my mind.
Yeah, it was McCaffrey all day. No, you're not. I mean, everybody, 100%. It bamboozled everybody. I mean, I guess that's a coaching thing where they're like, well, we're not going to release this, but
you got to. Like, this is my thing, and I've done this before when we were on radio. Like, if you as the NFL are going to take sponsorship dollars from DraftKings and Hard Rock and X and Y and Z and all of these betting sites, right? Yeah. You can't have this. Not that the NFL cares at all if you lose your life savings on a rushing prop, right? I understand that. But you're promoting it in every possible opportunity you get. ESPN Bet, anywhere. That bet on this, bet on that. You can't have coaches and teams withholding this stuff. And then people are placing bets. I get it. Some are refunding. Some places don't, by the way. So that's why you need to make sure where you're, paying attention to where you bet at. The fantasy part of it, survivor part of it. Like, there's so much involved here. And if you're the NFL, like, you gotta do serious stuff to stop this from happening. Because you can't promote something that's like, hey, spend your hard-earned money on this, bet on this, but we're not actually going to tell you who's playing. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah, it is problematic.
And the NFL's got to figure that out. I mean, they have somewhat of a problem with players betting on football. They've figured out a good way to squash that. You got to figure out a way to get the coaches to tell you if dude's playing on Friday or not. Like, you can't have this. If it's a true, legitimate, we don't know situation, then that's different.
Yeah.
But if what we heard is true and they knew on Friday that Christian McCaffrey wasn't playing, somebody got to tell somebody.
Yeah.
So that is just an absolute debacle for me. The fantasy season is cooked. I tried to counteract the Christian McCaffrey debacle with starting Keon Coleman this week.
I just checked and saw that stat line.
For those of you wondering if you didn't fully catch Thursday Night Football, Keon Coleman, big night. 0 catches, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 rushing yards, 0 fantasy points. So I'm done. I'm cooked.
Oof.
It's week 1.5, basically. They've played one game this week. And I'm cooked.
It was kind of an interesting thing seeing, Coleman was like in the huddle at one point with Allen, and Allen just ignored him like he didn't exist.
Yeah, it's foul, huh?
It's who's the number 1 receiver in Buffalo? Is it not Keon Coleman?
The number 1 receiver in Buffalo is, like, this is going to sound stupid, but the number 1 receiver in Buffalo is kind of Josh Allen. Like, and that makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
But when you talk about what the Bills have done with their offense and who has been the biggest part of their offense, yes, Stephon Diggs was a big part of that. But go back to week 1 this week when when Buffalo was down. What did they do? Josh Allen just kept running the football because there was no number 1 receiver. There was no go-to guy. The go-to guy on Buffalo is their quarterback in that way. So in the weirdest way, I think when you talk about a number 1 receiver, I think of a go-to guy. And to me, when their season and game is on the line, Josh Allen's going to make things happen.
Yeah.
So overall, you've got Khalil Shakur.
I forgot about Shakur, yeah.
You've got Keon Coleman. Again, 0 catches, I may remind you. You have 2 tight ends in Knox and Kincaid, and then I think Curtis Samuel is the other receiver. And then you've got James Cook, who scored 3 touchdowns the other night.
Guess you got that guy along with Allen, which is a great combo.
Yeah, you can run the heck out of the football.
Necessarily worry about it,
but I really thought Keon Coleman was going to be their number 1. I get it, it's week 2. There's plenty of time to go, but 0 catches is just foul. I think he only had 2 targets, too. But, like, here's the other thing about that football game. Miami, where were you? Like, try. You know what I mean? It was over in the first half. Obviously, the way that game plays out, Tua gets hurt, then it was really over. But like Buffalo didn't have to throw the ball. They threw it like 19 times or 17 times, something like that. And I get it. It's hard to make plays when you only throw it that many times. But Josh Allen, hey, let's throw it to him. I've also got a pretty hefty bet on Keon Coleman touchdowns in the regular season over 4.5. I thought it was a no-brainer. And it still may be.
Yeah, I'd agree, yeah.
But, dude, 0 catches?
Yeah, it's pathetic.
Damn. So, anyway, the lead up to that is me telling you I'm going to freaking lose to Nick Petty in fantasy. Like, I can't win unless your guys just suck. I got a 0. I got no McCaffrey. My kicker only got like 4 because I had Sanders. Like, it's a debacle. It's not a good start. I'm going to lose to Nick, who I had to beg to be in the league. Like, this is terrible. This is not a good start.
I mean, it's not a lock. It's not a lock looking at the roster. You got Herbert, Henry, Swift, who let me down. I expected more from Swift.
That's fair. Everybody expected more from that whole team, though.
Chase, Debo, Ingram, Godwin, and then, I don't know, kicker and defense may let me down, too.
I mean, that's a lot better than what I got going, since I already got a 0.
What do you got, Lamar? You got Lamar, was it Aaron Jones?
Yeah.
You got players that can make you got players.
Aaron Jones, by the way, playing the 49ers, who stopped the heck out of Breece Hall, who may be who is one of the best backs.
It's a week-to-week league. You never know.
It's a week. Don't give me that crap. My team sucks. It's over. Thanks to Kyle Shanahan. This is on Kyle Shanahan. And really, this is a bigger McCaffrey problem because we started Dynasty League a couple years ago, the year that McCaffrey was coming off of the injury in Carolina where he missed the whole thing. So, I was picking like 4th, and nobody was high on McCaffrey at that point. Like, this is pre-49ers McCaffrey. He was still good, don't get me wrong, but the injuries. And when I tell you I passed on him, he went like 6th in like a 12-person Dynasty League at this time. Isn't that crazy?
6 overall for McCaffrey?
Yeah, like 2020, whatever year that would have been. Whenever he was coming off with the big injury in Carolina. I picked Najee Harris instead.
What are you doing?
I don't even start Najee
But
Harris.
was that Najee's rookie year?
Yes.
He had a lot of hype. Probably more hype than McCaffrey did. You probably thought
Coming
you
off
knew
the
what
injury.
McCaffrey, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought I'd be dealing with that big debacle. So, fast forward 4 years, I don't even start Najee Harris. He's fresh on my bench. And Christian McCaffrey has helped somebody win a league. So, yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm over it. I'm the idiot. I made the mistake. I picked him. But just an absolute debacle on the Christian McCaffrey fund. And I wanted to start with that because I'm mad about it. And there's nothing I can do. But nonetheless, we move. And we're off and running. Let's go to break. We got to get some of those in. We didn't do any of them last week because, again, debacle couldn't get the microphones to work. But we're going to do it this week. We're going to get breaks in. We're going to do all the stuff. We've got picks. I got best bets. And then we will talk college football in the second hour. We go up until noon. Outside of the picks to make, we have games to talk about. I'm assuming Tennessee's playing, judging by your fit. Yeah, that sounds about
7:45 kick randomly.
7:45?
Yeah.
So they're not playing a real team?
Yes, Kent State. Which
Sorry, Kent State.
even like a 7:45 kick for Kent State's odd to me. It's a noon kick.
Why do they always kick the games that don't matter at the randomest times?
Yeah.
You ever notice that?
You get like a 4 o'clock or a 5 o'clock kick. We got one of those last year that didn't make sense.
Like Coastal Carolina Temple, give me a solid 2 p.m. kick. Shout out to that. That makes no sense. 4:15 UAB Arkansas. Boy, that sounds like a time you kick off college football. 4:15 p.m.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody's watching that. It just feels like all of the very odd games. There it is right there, 7:45 on the SEC network. They really don't want you to watch that, but I have a feeling you will be. But we will talk about the games that are actually kicking off at normal times. Texas A&M and Florida will be a big one, even though both teams are
3:30 kick.
Not very good. 3:30. Yeah, big one. Big one. A lot of people are going to be watching that one. That's what they think.
A&M on a 10-game, 10 road game losing streak. Last FBS team for Florida to beat was South Carolina playing LSU today.
We're going to talk about that. We have to make a pick on that one as well. That one's kind of sneaky. Alabama, Wisconsin. I don't really know what to make of it, but I just think it's fascinating.
I don't know what Wisconsin might have.
I think it's fascinating to see Alabama play Wisconsin. Like, I like when brands play each other. Am I the only one?
No, it's fun. Didn't they play Wisconsin somewhere in the last 10 years. It was another big game, but I feel like
Somewhere in the last 10 years, they probably did.
it feels like it's further back at this point. But it felt like another big matchup that they had that may have been in the Bielema time at Wisconsin before he went to Arkansas.
It's a good pull. We'll get the research department to fact check that. The research department is me with a laptop in the 5-minute break. So we'll see if I can figure that out. I may not be able to, and if I don't, we'll just never address it ever again.
Nope.
But it sounds like a pretty good stat. We'll just run with it. This is the show that has no name. Kasey, Kuhrts, Nick Petty. We're doing it all the way up until noon. We're back after this.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
When I say it means something to me, gentlemen, it means something to me.
High school football is back and it's bigger than ever. Welcome to the Friday Night Zone Blitz.
It is bigger than a game.
Watch the biggest games each week live as the action unfolds with instant reaction and analysis from our Hall of Famer, Kevin Sullivan. It starts with live look-ins at the top matchups, including our Jaguars Prep Whataburger Game of the Week, and that is just the beginning of 4 straight hours of coverage. From 8 to 10:30, the Friday Night Zone Blitz is streaming on our Action News Jax app and online. At 10:30, the Friday Night Blitz you know and love. A half hour of highlights from around the area. 11 o'clock, we shine the spotlight on the bands that pump up the crowd. 11:15, it's time to blitz through the highlights online and on air. Then 11:35, back to the stream to break down the night's results with a reaction from local coaches. 4 straight hours of high school football on the Friday Night Zone Blitz. Only on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Nobody but Nimnicht. Our family has purchased 6 vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Who gives you top dollar for your trade? Nobody but Nimnicht. Save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%. You know I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer. You can schedule a test drive at NimnichtBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnicht is there for you, even on Sundays. So, who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? The answer's simple. Nobody but Nimnicht. Your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
It's hard to put a price on comfort, especially when you use that comfort on a daily basis. But if we're going to put a price on it, how does the lowest price guaranteed sound? Furniture Source is going to have the biggest brands, whether it's Ashley, Casper, or Tempur-Pedic, and once again, it's going to be the guaranteed lowest price in Jacksonville. Right now, my friends at Furniture Source are going to give you the ultimate hookup because all month long, they're making their inventory wholesale price. Check out their markdowns up to 50% off. And remember, since it's Furniture Source, you're getting the guaranteed lowest prices in Florida or your money back. Don't have the cash on you right now? It's no worry. Shop endless options to suit your style and budget and enjoy 36 months off with no interest financing. Why use your money when you can use theirs? Whether it's beds, couches, tables, or chairs, Furniture Source is going to have exactly what you're looking for. Shop the lowest prices in Jacksonville guaranteed. Find the location nearest you at FurnitureSourceJax.com.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville.
It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air.
It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com.
Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs.
Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Welcome back, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. That is the Miss Pac-Man machine. And you're probably like, why they zoomed in on the Miss Pac-Man machine? Well, a couple reasons. One, I deleted the video of the bump of the Miss Pac-Man machine. Sorry, Marcel, if we could get that sent back to the Google Drive. I lost it. Sorry about that. But Nick has figured out a solution, and he has zoomed in on the Miss Pac-Man machine. Now, one of Brent Martineau's prized possessions is this Miss Pac-Man machine. Dude is extremely proud of the score on the Pac-Man machine, which is somewhat impressive. 108,110.
I give him props.
It's pretty
I
impressive.
get like 8,000, then I'm dead.
I know what I'm saying, right? Anytime I get 10,000, I'm like, I did it. Brent, 108,000, pretty impressive. Dude has spent a lot of time playing it. Don't let him lie to you. Spent a lot of time at the house, brought it in here, and now everybody's playing it. I'm not going to rat anybody out, right? But I'm here somewhat a lot for someone that's not on the payroll. And I see many people coming in and out of this studio playing on the Pac-Man machine. Not going to name any names. One of them may have hired me back in the day. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. One may be like the only person that never shows up on the network. I'm just saying he works here, but is in the sports department, never on the network, might be somewhere else. That's all I'm saying. But I see a lot of people playing this Pac-Man machine. And for days and days and days, the most recent score on the machine nearly took Brent Martineau's score. Brent at 108, 85,970. That's a pretty big score. I didn't see it happen, but here's what I know. I was in here on Tuesday, and I saw this score on the board. The way people are playing Pac-Man in this building, I think people are coming in, seeing that score, and scared to mess it up. Because you don't want to be the guy that takes the 85,000 score and then drop like a 7,000. That's just embarrassing. You know what I mean?
That'd be me. I've been in here a couple times to do it.
Are you about to do it today?
Nah, I think I'm going to get out of here after the show.
Exactly. There's a psyche. You're scared of the 85,000. You're like, I don't want to be that guy.
I'm not good enough to even get close to it.
Let's be honest. Who do you think did it? I know we can't really name names, but we can elaborate. Nobody will know what we're talking about, but me and you will know.
Probably the guy that hired me a while back.
You think it was him, huh?
Yeah. I've seen him get up there.
Bro's in here a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've always got the sense he's kind of garbage at the game, though.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think it was the person who works here that's never on the network.
I'm trying to figure out who that is.
Think about the sports office. Think about who you see on the network. Obviously, you see Brent. You see Marcel.
Okay,
Stewart.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
But he's never
That's what I
here
was
that
thinking.
long, right? That's a long run.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's doing it on the Miss Pac-Man machine, and Austin's in Vegas, so it wasn't Austin. Maybe Hamby? I've never really seen Hamby go at it, though.
I don't know that Hamby's got it. I don't know that Hamby's got Pac-Man in him.
I know the producers are rotating again. Could it have been Kim?
No.
Who else produces this show? Or Austin show?
Rob.
Could
maybe.
it have been Rob? I don't know.
He was in here playing it the other day.
Okay. We're putting stuff together. I would love to know
I think
who it
on
was.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It was in my work week. So it would have started on Wednesday.
Maybe it was Wednesday the day I was here. It was Wednesday because Scrap House.
Oh.
That is an unlikely candidate.
Did what's his name? Bleak Bills?
Yeah.
Did he rack up 85,000?
I would be stunned. It was an inside job. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh.
That's all I'm going to say. We know. who it was. All right, we're going to get back on track. Show that has no name. Nick Petty, Kasey Kuhrts. YB says, hey, I need the lick this weekend, y'all. Where are them blocks at? Kasey and Nick in the daytime. I got some options. I got some potential options for you. BioZeo says, pick UCLA plus 3.5. First off,
What do Bruins got?
Indiana. I'm in it. Like a little bit with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, but not a ton. But I respect you for putting it in the chat. So here's the interesting part. UCLA, the half is gone. It's just straight 3 now. So people are putting money on UCLA a little bit. The number is 3. The over-under is 46. UCLA plus 140 on the money line. I don't understand this, but UCLA's only played 1 football game this year.
Yeah, weird.
Some teams have played 3.
The whole week 0 thing throws the whole
It is
world.
goofy, huh?
Yeah.
But how have you only played 1 time? And by the way, the 1 time you played, you had to go to Hawaii, and you won 16-13. Listen to this. You almost wouldn't believe this is a real schedule, but this is what UCLA has to start the season. I did not expect to talk UCLA, and this is just mind-blowing to me. So they start at Hawaii, Indiana at home today, at LSU, home against Oregon, at Penn State. They've got no shot. Like, that's terrible to start this season. You eventually have to go to Nebraska. Like, the Big Ten thing is so stupid with the conference realignment.
This is like a Florida sort of schedule.
Dude, this is tough.
Indiana's 2-0 with Kirk Cignetti is the new guy there. LSU, Oregon, Penn State, Minnesota with is P.J. Fleck still?
Yep.
Could be problematic. Rutgers, that probably should win that one. Nebraska, if Rail is still good.
Nebraska's low. Nathan Rourke, former Jags preseason legend. Indiana 2-0. They win 31-7 over FIU and 77-3 over Western Illinois. Probably a game that kicked off at like 2:14 p.m. Because again, not real teams. But anytime you put 77 on someone, shout out to you. And also, you got to be kind of a jerk if you're the coach. Like, at what point do you think he decide? Like, I would say comfortably when you get to 40 and you're playing Western Illinois, you got to feel like they're not coming back. He then put 37 more on them when they got to 40.
If I get 21 points, I feel fine. Past that, I'm rotating guys, getting experience for my backups. I don't care if I field by the 4th quarter walk-ons only, I'm still scoring.
So it looks like at the half in that football game, it was 35-3. And the coach said,
it's 42-3.
42-3. I'm terrible at math. Thank you.
It's fine. It's a stream thing.
42-3. Yeah, they
had 35 in the second half. You were close.
That's a good point.
You're looking at the wrong half, buddy. That's all.
No, I literally tried to add those 2 numbers in my head, and that's what I came up with. 701 total yards in that football game, by the way, for Indiana and the Western Illinois Leathernecks. So sorry about it, fellas. You lose 2.
I got to check the box score. How did they get 700 yards? They only got 300 between Rourke and the starting running back. So Taven Jackson had 100 yards, former Tennessee guy. Mendoza
now in
6.
Indiana.
Yeah.
That's a downgrade a little bit.
A little bit. He's a junior or senior now. He's getting up there. He was a Pruitt recruit.
Yeah, that probably explains why he's
Heupel
gone.
walked out of town.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. He had Hooker and Milton, so he made the right choice.
That's fair. So yeah, that is something that viewers interested in. I will say, I always like a team at home getting points, especially when the team that's coming to you, because Indiana is coming to UCLA, is coming from a different time zone. I'm a big fan of that. I mean, Indiana hasn't played a real team yet, although neither has UCLA. What does that home field advantage look like? I think the half is big there, because right now on Hard Rock, I'm seeing 3 instead of 3.5. So if you get that half back, I might be a little more intrigued. But Indiana, not that we're going to spend a lot of time on this, but the Curtis Rourke kid was a highly rated transfer portal guy. He was at Ohio before. A lot of teams wanted him. He ends up in Indiana. People say he's better than Nathan. I don't know that to be true. But the Jags preseason legend, Nathan Rourke, his brother, will play for the Indiana Hoosiers against UCLA in a Big Ten matchup, just as everybody thought it would be. UCLA in the Big Ten with maybe the hardest schedule that I've ever seen after clicking on that. Holy cow. Anyway, we move back to the NFL as we do in the first hour. My plan here is to give you a best bet in every single football game, NFL football game that will be played this weekend. There's a lot of bad ones. There's some good ones. The matchups are this: Jags, Browns, Colts, Packers, Chargers, Panthers, yikes. Raiders, Ravens, yikes. Saints, Cowboys, yikes. Giants, Commanders, don't put that game on TV. Jets, Titans, ugh. Seahawks, Patriots, ugh. 49ers, Vikings, don't bet on Christian McCaffrey. Bucks, Lions, Rams, Cardinals, Bengals, Chiefs, that's a good one, or maybe. Steelers, Broncos, Bears, Texans, Falcons, Eagles, wrap up the schedule. I do not want to talk much about the Panthers. Go ahead.
When was the last time that Mahomes beat Burrow?
He beat him the last time they met in the playoffs. He did beat him. But the 3 previous times before that, Burrow had beaten him.
I was wondering if he was still had no win against Burrow, but that changes what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, they got him. They got him the last time, and the Bengals are in a bit of a situation to start the season. We'll check on T. Higgins in a minute, but Jamar Chase, obviously the contract situation still has not been resolved. So we will get there. We will have to make a pick for that game as we go along as well. But I'm just going to start. Chargers-Panthers is not a good football. The Panthers stink. And let me rephrase. The Panthers suck. The Panthers are terrible. The Panthers look like they have no business being in the National Football League. Like, did you see what happened last week?
Nope.
That was terrible. Bryce Young, it does not look good. It's hard to look good when you have nothing around you. But they play the Saints in week 1 and get absolutely demolished 47-10. And really, the 10 is generous. The Saints could have just not let them score.
Had to give them a little hope at the end, I guess.
It's absolutely terrible. I just said about the teams traveling, which makes me a bit concerned. The Chargers will come all the way to Carolina. The Chargers, with a surprising win, surprisingly looked good. This one is just simple. It's easy, and I don't really understand it. Like, if you look around at enough things and enough props, you'll find some stuff that don't make sense. This one doesn't make sense to me. Xavier Legette, maybe the best accent in the NFL. If you haven't heard him talk, maybe go do that.
No, maybe to it.
It's
maybe to it.
Absolutely fantastic. His receiving prop is 18.5 yards. Now, I get it. The Panthers suck. Terrible. Not good. As YB400 just put it, the Panthers is booty cheeks. I'm not arguing with you. But Xavier Legette, 18.5 yards, feels like somewhat of a no-brainer. He had 30-something yards last week in the blowout. When you look at what else they have, well, one, let's just start here. They're going to get blown out again. Mm-hmm. They stink. So they're going to be throwing the football. 18.5 yards, that's a broken tackle. And this is a guy that was highly drafted. This is a guy that has talent. He's a guy that will become their number 1 receiver, I believe. I mean, you're fighting with Adam Thielen, who's 1,000 years old, no offense, had a good career. Bro's 1,000. And Deontay Johnson, who is just a guy, to put it nicely. Xavier Legette is the young player, the guy that they want to develop. 18.5 yards is criminal, I believe. Get it in his hands. I believe they will do that. The catches prop is like 3 or 2.5, which is also intriguing, but you're getting plus money on 18.5 receiving yards for Xavier Legette. So I think that one's a no-brainer. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again, but I think it's a no-brainer.
You taking the over on it?
Yo, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't say that. Oh, yeah. 18.5.
Well, I was making sure. I'm thinking you're going to take the over, right? I'm just making sure on my own part.
Yeah, absolutely. 18.5, I'm definitely taking the over because, dude, it's a broken tackle. You slip one guy.
He was 4 of 35 last week, even as they looked abysmal.
Right? I just think when you're talking about a team that, for lack of a better term, sucks. I fell into this a little bit last week with the Eagles, but this is not an Eagles situation. When you're talking about the Eagles, you've got to feed Barkley and Brown and Smith. Goddard's good. Jalen Hurts runs the football. So I was looking at Jahan Dotson, who they acquired, former first-rounder or second-round, I think first-rounder, maybe second-rounder. High draft pick, let's put it that way. And his prop last week was 9.5 yards. And I was like, 9.5 yards? A first down?
Yeah.
He didn't get it, folks, just to tell you. But when you look at what this is, being Chargers-Panthers, I'm not worried about any of these other guys. Chuba Hubbard, sure. I picked you up in fantasy only because my team sucks. Deontay Johnson, sure, you're going to get some targets. I don't argue that. Adam Thielen, you've had a good career. Xavier Legette's getting 19 yards in this football game. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I'm not wrong on this one. Over 18.5 receiving yards for Xavier Legette. If you're wondering, the Panthers, by the way, or the Chargers, -5, 5-point favorites, -250 if you are taking the money line. 38.5 is the over-under. If you're looking for value there, I think you just got to hope the Chargers can win by 7. Win by a solid touchdown. They should, but here's the thing. I also don't think the Chargers are any good. Big Justin Herbert guy. Always have been. Met him at a Chick-fil-A one time. In Atlanta, Georgia. Random.
What have you been in Atlanta for?
College football awards.
Oh.
That part wasn't random. That was,
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you played at Oregon.
That was kind of my business model. But the Chick-fil-A part was absolutely random. I knew he was in Atlanta. I didn't know he was at Chick-fil-A. Anyway, big fan of him. But I don't think that they're very good. I think they had a good first week. They do it at home. I wonder what this team looks like going on the road. Again, Carolina's the worst team in the league, so that does help. But you're going, you couldn't get farther across the country. You could if you're going like Maine to, I don't know, California. But California to Charlotte is pretty far away from each other. Los Angeles to Charlotte's pretty far away from each other. So I will be interested to see how that team reacts. There's no value on the money line because nobody in the world thinks the Panthers are going to win. 38.5 is a low number, but the problem is you need the Panthers to help you there. And I don't know if the Panthers are scoring 10 points. It is the NFL. Other teams score. I don't know if the Panthers are scoring 10 points. So I think if you're looking for value on or just how to make money on this game, I think you just have to kind of go Chargers -5 and hope that they win by a touchdown. And if you're confident they're going to win by a touchdown, go to an alt line and go at like a -6 number. Because if you're very confident they're going to win by that 7, go get more value out of it and get plus money. So Chargers-Panthers is a potentially ugly one. 1 o'clock kick, which will factor into the Charger debacle. I'm not sure when they go out or when they went out to Charlotte. I would bet that they're there by now, hopefully. So, but Xavier Legette, bro.
How soon can teams fly out? Do they have like a window?
No, there's not a rule. I don't believe there's a rule because you can stay like a lot of times. The Chargers have actually done this with the Jags, where if you're like 2 East Coast teams,
You just stay on the East
stay.
Coast.
Mhm.
See, that's the thing. I would fly out like maybe on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Get out there early enough that maybe the jet lag, the switch flips, and you're good come the weekend, and you don't have to worry about that time difference. If that's something you can logistically
you still
plan
got to
as an-
practice. I mean,
Well, you can call up a high school team. You're fine.
call up a high school team.
Or some. I mean, whoever
Chargers
you gotta
billion-dollar facility. They're like, we'll go practice at a high school.
or a college team. Oh, you're coming to Carolina. You got what? It's in Charlotte.
Mhm.
Well, you got University of Charlotte there. You can go across town or whatever, and you go to Chapel Hill. You find somebody with a practice facility that'll work for a couple days.
I don't hate the idea, but I also see why you're not a head coach.
That's fair. I mean,
I mean, you know. So
I'm just thinking in the idea of a competitive edge. That's all. But
hear you.
if it logistically it may not make any sense.
I hear you. So you in on 18.5 over for Xavier
Oh,
Legette?
100%.
Are we in there? All right.
Yeah.
Jets, Titans, another one that might be ugly. Titans, maybe the photo of the season, Will Levis with the terrible interception, hands on the head, just not good. The Bears the Bears win a football game over the Titans in week 1 in a game they did not score an offensive touchdown, so shout out to them for that. A couple on defense and field goals, and they get it done. They will be at home. They'll host the Jets, who looked absolutely terrible. There's things to buy into for the Jets, but they got absolutely throttled by the San Francisco 49ers. This one seems, again, pretty easy. We're going to a running back reception prop. Tony Pollard is the back who did have a nice first week for the Titans. 2.5 catches. Give me the over. Here's why. Jets defense, I do think, is good. It was not good against the 49ers. The 49ers, I think we can all agree, even without Christian McCaffrey, are the best team in the sport. Maybe we can't all agree. You didn't look too happy when I said that. But I think
I'm in agreement.
most people, I feel like, and you're now with me, that the 49ers are the best team in the sport.
I mean, they have the most top to bottom loaded roster that you can get in the league.
Agreed. Very much agreed. So I think that was not a good look for the Jets defense. It will be a billion times better against the Titans. Titans, it's going to be a rough football game, I believe. But 2.5 catches for Tony Pollard. He had 3 last week. But that's not the part that intrigues me. The part that intrigues me is they're not going to be able to go down the field. I do expect they'll be down because I think Aaron Rodgers and the Jets offense will look better. So I think they're going to need to throw the football. I don't think there's going to be a ton of space to throw the football for Will Levis. Enter in the dump off. 3 dump offs to Tony Pollard, and we're good. Tajay Spears does play a part in the passing game, but Tony Pollard dominated the workload last week. He's going to be on the field. He's a good receiving back. If you remember when Tony Pollard came to Dallas and started his career, he was the receiving back for Ezekiel Elliott in his prime. Yeah. So 2.5 is easy. And I just think you're going to have way too many dump-off opportunities in this football game when the Jets have it bottled up down the field. And let's not sit here and pretend like the Titans receivers are absolutely fantastic. Who knows how open they're going to be. I just think Tony Pollard, 2.5 catches, 3 hits you if you go on the over. I just think it makes too much sense, Nick.
Hopkins still out?
It's a good question. I do not know. I saw his
increase
prop.
your odds a little bit.
What'd you say?
So that might increase your odds there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I just, here's my thing with Hopkins. He's fine. He's good.
Yeah,
he's not what he used to be.
1 reception, 8 yards.
I mean, but when you look at that Jets defense, last week. I'm not worried about Hopkins with whoever they have on him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if he plays, Blaze doesn't play, whatever, I still think Tony Pollard 2.5 catches, 3 hits you the over. I just think it makes too much sense. If you are wondering about the football game, Jets are 3.5-point favorites, which there is value there. They got to win by 4. Feel like they will. Titans, they did play a close game last week, but if the Bears had anything going on offense, that game all of a sudden isn't close. There's no value on the money line. 41.5 is the over-under. You could maybe buy into that, maybe going for the over, but I think that's a questionable number because, again, you're relying on the Titans to score, which we're not sure that they can. So I think Tony Pollard is the best bet there, but the Jets, in terms of the spread, I think is interesting. San Francisco, Minnesota is another one. This one I don't fully understand. Even without McCaffrey, that's fine. I understand Minnesota's a different team at home. Their defense is fantastic at home. They've always been a better team there. San Francisco -5 is the line. San Francisco just demolished the Jets. I get that they were at home first week. Week 1 is weird in the NFL. But San Francisco's winning this game by a touchdown, I believe. You don't even have to go alt spread. You don't have to do nothing fancy here. Just the straight-up line is San Fran -5 on the road. Am I crazy, or does that make too much sense?
It makes too much sense. Or no. You're right. I agree with you. They're going to win by more than a touchdown.
That's what I think.
They're going to win by more than a touchdown.
I mean, McCaffrey's a big part of what they do. They've proven that they can do it without him. I'm not sitting here saying that the back is going to have another huge, massive day. He doesn't need to. No. You've got Debo. You've got Kittle. You've got Ayuk. You've got Purdy. Jennings. That's a good call. He's good, dude. I'm with you. I forgot about him, and I'm not surprised you remembered him as a Tennessee fan. So
he's an under the radar kind of guy, but yeah,
he is. I just think that one makes too much sense for the San Francisco 49ers. It feels like a no-brainer. They should be able to win the football game. Somewhat big. So we'll see. Maybe the Vikings are for real. Jordan Addison, questionable in that football game. So we'll see how it plays out. A game left to pick in a little bit is the Colts and the Packers. Jordan Love. Damn it. A lot of futures bets on the Packers that are now resting in the hands of Malik Willis.
Oh.
Not good. Not good at all. But they will be at home. They will take on the Colts, who looked good in week 1. If there was a bet for air yards of Anthony Richardson, how far he'll throw the football in the air,
yeah.
I'd be all in. Because, dude, what a throw last week. They do lose the football game, but if you saw it, you would remember it. An unbelievable toss down the field to, I believe, Alec Pierce was the guy there.
He just heaved it. Absolute heave.
Beautiful throw. Unbelievable. So with that being said, and you're talking about at home, and you're talking about Malik Willis now running your offense, you have a ton of receivers. They have a similar problem, I think, with Jacksonville in terms of betting. Jaden Reed has become the number 1, but there are so many guys that could do something. Jaden Reed has scored like 12 touchdowns in the last 10 games or something wild like that. Christian Watson, who was supposed to be their 1, scores last week but only had like 35 yards off of it. Romeo Doubs has really come on at times, but you really don't know when and where that's going to happen. And then they have 2 tight ends. So I think it's hard to do anything with their receivers. But when you go to Malik Willis, a backup quarterback, I don't think they're going to sit here and throw the ball around the yard. Enter Josh Jacobs. Anytime touchdown for Josh Jacobs, plus money, plus 120 right now.
Got him in another league, too.
He's got to score.
Yeah.
He's got to score. Like, Malik Willis, shout out to you. You're not throwing it around the yard. Colts defense, by the way, sneaky good. Wasn't great last week. Week 1's weird. Sneaky good. So I think Josh Jacobs at the anytime touchdown, plus 120, it just makes too much sense. Now, again, I try to find things that make too much sense. This one does make too much sense. But how does he not score? How does he not score, Josh Jacobs? He's the unquestioned number 1 back on the team. Malik Willis is going to run a little bit, but Malik Willis is not a power runner. He's not a Josh Allen goal line type guy.
Or even Anthony Richardson, which I would say is
Good
a
call.
stronger runner.
Good call. Absolutely. He'll get out in space. He'll do some things in the middle in the middle of the field. But I think when you're talking down towards the goal line, he's not even a Jalen Hurts. You're not pushing him into the end zone, I don't believe. I think you're turning around, you're handing it to Josh Jacobs, who can be physical. A.J. Dillon is hurt, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm just kind of surprised to see the plus money on Josh Jacobs for the anytime touchdown. When you're talking about the other running back on the other side, and Jonathan Taylor, who's a minus 105, which is not plus money, but pretty close, to score a touchdown. Josh Jacobs, they're giving you plus money at plus 120 for Josh Jacobs to score in the football game. YB said, what's the prop for Josh Jacobs? The rushing yard number is 64.5, which I'm not out on, but I'm not necessarily in on. I just think the touchdown's easier money. Like, if you really love it, you could do both, because one would believe they're going to run the football. That's why I buy into the rushing touchdown prop. So you could believe that 65 yards is not a big number to hit. My concern would be is if they get down, do they have to throw? Like, I think this game is close for a bit, and I think that's where you get the touchdown. I think you get the Josh Jacobs touchdown in the first half. But the Colts, I think, have the ability to blow teams out because they can do what we just talked about with that play with Anthony Richardson. You could score in a second. Not every team has that.
Yeah,
The Colts have established that they have that because they have a game changer at quarterback. Still a lot to be seen by Anthony Richardson. I get it. But I like Josh Jacobs to score a touchdown in this football game. And if you think he is, you're going to get plus money to do so. Raiders going to the Ravens. Raiders, an absolute debacle in week 1. Ravens missed a win over the Chiefs by that much? So close. So close by the Ravens and Isaiah Likely. The big question in this one is, Mark Andrews, hey, you going to do something? 2 targets. Isaiah Likely had like 10, scores a touchdown. The Ravens, I agree with YB. They should win the football game. The line, if you are wondering, 8.5, which is questionable because it still is the NFL. Backdoor cover, those type of things happen. But the Ravens are clearly the better football team. Raiders coming from Las Vegas all the way to Baltimore. Derrick Henry is the favorite to score a touchdown at minus 180. Not a ton of value there. Mark Andrews, I'd stay away. I'd stay away from both of the tight ends because I don't know what to expect. When Andrews came back, I thought it was going to be a dominated Mark Andrews tight end like it had been before. Isaiah Likely comes on last year when Andrews goes out, and now is apparently still a big part of the offense. But I think that's a week-to-week thing. So in fantasy, I'd even be concerned, and I have Andrews, so I'm stuck in Dynasty. I have to play him. But I think when you're talking about yards and receptions and anytime touchdowns this week, I would just stay away from the Ravens tight ends because it's just a little bit of a debacle is what I think you're looking at there. YB says Zay Flowers anytime touchdown. He is at plus 190, so you would return plus money. But I think the Ravens have a little bit of the Packers effect where it's like, Zay Flowers, he's their number 1 receiver, but one of the tight ends may score. Henry's going to score. Lamar can run it in. Like, they have so many ways to score the football. But if you're set on a Ravens receiver to score a touchdown, I mean, the value is Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is that guy. I wouldn't necessarily call it a best bet. It's not something that I'm super intrigued by, but I think you could potentially go that way. The one that interests me is Ravens total points. I mean, I'm not sold on the rate. Did I say Ravens or Raiders? Both our teams are confusing me. Ravens total points is where I'm at. because I'm not sold on the Raiders' defense. The travel, playing in Baltimore, the early kick. Again, you got a lot of West Coast teams coming to the East Coast, so I think that will play in to some things. 23.5 is the number for the Ravens total points, which you can get if you go the over there. You're at minus 115 on Hard Rock. So I think the Ravens are scoring 24 points in the football game. I think it makes too much sense. Take the win, the loss, the spread out of it. They score 24, you're good. That's a couple of touchdowns, and you got Tucker who can make it from 80, it feels like. So to me, if you're looking for something there, again, you're not returning plus money, but you're certainly not doing bad, would be Ravens total points at over 23.5. How about that? You like it? Aha! I like that. We're on the same page, which may be scary, which may be a little bit scary, but I like that you're.
I just believe too much in the Ravens offense.
Most people do.
They got too many weapons. Andrews likely, Zay Flowers. You got Lamar. I'm a Derrick Henry believer, but not a fan.
That's fair. I agree with that.
So it's one of too many ways to get the ball into the end zone.
Yep, I'm with that. And I don't think the Raiders are any good, so I think there is that point too.
I always kind of want the silver and black to be good. I think it'd be a fun team to see be good, but I despise the dude who owns that team.
Mark Davis?
Remember. Yeah, Mark Davis. I just think of his haircut.
You despise him because he's ugly?
No, I despise him because he took the team out of Oakland.
That's fair.
I wanted the team to stay in Oakland. I think that it was a perfect combo.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. Well, they're probably not going to win the football game.
Nah.
And I think the Ravens are definitely scoring 24 points. Let's take a break. When we come back, other games to get to. We still have the Jags. We still have the Cowboys. The worst football game of the week is the Giants-Commanders, Seahawks-Patriots. A few more props to get to, and then we head into college football, looking at the Florida teams, looking at all the big matchups, some betting lines there, and we have picks to make, and I'm sure we'll talk about the Tennessee Volunteers at some point. Dude, it looks so much better outside. Dude, we started the show 58 minutes ago. It was dark. Look at that.
It'll be dark again later. We're getting rain later this evening.
Of course we are. What are you, a meteorologist now? They call you Corey Sima around here?
If only.
Anyway, holy cow. Looking good out there, Jacksonville. Go outside if you want to for now, because apparently, according to meteorologists, later. The second hour of a show with no name coming back.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
When I say it means something to me, gentlemen, it means something to me.
High school football is back and it's bigger than ever. Welcome to the Friday Night Zone Blitz.
It is bigger than a game.
Watch the biggest games each week live as the action unfolds with instant reaction and analysis from our Hall of Famer, Kevin Sullivan. It starts with live look-ins at the top matchups, including our Jaguars Prep Whataburger Game of the Week, and that is just the beginning of 4 straight hours of coverage. From 8 to 10:30, the Friday Night Zone Blitz is streaming on our Action News Jax app and online. At 10:30, the Friday Night Blitz you know and love. A half hour of highlights from around the area. 11 o'clock, we shine the spotlight on the bands that pump up the crowd. 11:15, it's time to blitz through the highlights online and on air. Then 11:30. On Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Nobody but Nimnicht. Our family has purchased 6 vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Who gives you top dollar for your trade? Nobody but Nimnicht. Save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnichtBuickGMC.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnicht is there for you, even on Sundays. So, who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? The answer's simple. Nobody but Nimnicht. Your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
It's hard to put a price on comfort, especially when you use that comfort on a daily basis. But if we're going to put a price on it, how does the lowest price guaranteed sound? Furniture Source is going to have the biggest brands, whether it's Ashley, Casper, or Tempur-Pedic, and once again, it's going to be the guaranteed lowest price in Jacksonville. Right now, my friends at Furniture Source are going to give you the ultimate hookup because all month long, they're making their inventory wholesale price. Check out their markdowns up to 50% off. And remember, since it's Furniture Source, you're getting the guaranteed lowest prices in Florida or your money back. Don't have the cash on you right now? It's no worry. Shop endless options to suit your style and budget and enjoy 36 months off with no interest financing. Why use your money when you can use theirs? Whether it's beds, couches, tables, or chairs, Furniture Source is going to have exactly what you're looking for. Shop the lowest prices in Jacksonville guaranteed. Find the location nearest you at FurnitureSourceJacks.com.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville.
It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air.
It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com.
Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. BoldCityAC.com. And they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs.
Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
Look at that. Look at that. The city of Jacksonville. Looking fantastic. As we hit the 11 o'clock hour. On a Saturday, the show that has no name. YB said we should have called the show Easy Money. That would have made some sense. We didn't. Mostly because of procrastination, and then we just went with this.
I was trying to cook up ideas, but everything I kept searching was like taken. I was like, "This. Well, I don't want this. I got to be original, man."
I'll tell you this: nobody has a show that has no name.
There you go.
Tell you that. Shows that do have a name, though. By the way, the Scrap House is one of them. That was an Austin Lane creation. He said, "What do you feel about the Scrap House?" I said, "Dope." And now we have the Scrap House with Austin and Kasey. Wednesdays, Action Sports Jacks 24/7, which is where we are right now. At 7, we talk WWE, some Raw, some SmackDown, AEW. If you missed it last night, SmackDown, the debut on the USA Network. Cody Rhodes retains in a steel cage. Roman Reigns appears. The crowd goes ape, and it looks like we may have Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes together, teaming up against the Bloodline. Jacob Fatu.
So you said it was new on whatever network? I thought it had always been on USA or whatever.
Well, Raw is on USA.
Oh.
So SmackDown has been all over the board, but the last few years it's been on Fox 30 here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's right.
You actually may want to tell somebody to pull the Fox 30 wrestling promo because I've seen it twice now and the show's not there. So if anybody's listening, maybe pull the SmackDown promo. Anyway, now it's on USA, and now both shows are on USA for the rest of the year, but then everything will go to Netflix.
That's so gross.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I just think, like, it's gross to put these games matches, whatever.
Yeah, I hear you.
On streaming platforms, like it's people just with the rights to it that are putting it to put it there, or companies buying it to get people to subscribe for a month to rake in more money. But it's kind of scummy.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing with that in terms of the wrestling aspect. I mean, Netflix is looking for the live sports stuff. You've seen it. They're looking for live stuff, period. Like the roast they've been doing. They do want to be in the sports world. WWE's there. I do agree with you that everything being in every different spot is super annoying, right? Because the majority of people, I would assume, not to get political here, but I feel like for the majority of it, everybody's struggling a little bit, right? Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I think when you're having to decide, like, I don't have Netflix currently. I watch wrestling. I'm going to have to figure something out, right? I mean, I have YouTube TV, which is great for the NFL stuff and a lot of the sports stuff. But, I mean, I have Peacock, but only because I get it for free from Xfinity. And WWE right now, their pay-per-views, or their premium live events, however you want to call it, are on Peacock. So that's a savior because I don't have to pay for it. But I would if I didn't have Xfinity. But, I mean, there's just so many, and I like soccer. So I have Paramount because that's where the USA team is a lot because they're not on TV. And that's like $5-6 a month. So it's just like, I agree with you that everything being strung out is a bit of a debacle. But from the WWE standpoint, like, if you're not a wrestling fan, this is, I mean, you're not going to necessarily agree with this, but WWE is such a big production, right? And you can say it's fake and you can say all that stuff, that's fine. But the point is they're entertaining and telling a story for 2 to 3 hours on a Monday or a Friday. And at times, I've been super critical, and so is Austin, about you don't make the break schedule if you're operating under somebody else's rules. So there's been many times recently where I'm very into the story that they're telling me, and they have to go to a break because Fox said so, because USA said so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think when you go to Netflix, you're running this big major production already. Now you're deciding everything. If you're going to break, when you're going to break, how long that's going to be. I think that's just going to help in the storytelling. So I do think it will get better. Plus, on Netflix, if you're talking about a platform such as wrestling, your whole thing is built on shock and being stunned. And there's nothing that gets a wrestling crowd going like somebody dropping a curse word, right? Because you're on TV, you're not really expecting it. So there is a give and take there, right? You will be expecting a little bit more on Netflix, but you can call somebody whatever you want on Netflix. Like, there's no rules. So I do agree with you that it's pretty ridiculous that everything is everywhere and you got to pay for this or pay for that or steal somebody's password. I'm not advising it. I'm just saying people do it. So I agree with you, but I do think the wrestling product will be better on Netflix. But I will have to get Netflix. Maybe me and Austin go halfsies on an account. I'm just saying. Austin, if you're listening, maybe help your guy out. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Holy cow. But the show's on Wednesdays. And after live events, premium live events, we try to go live as well. But Austin's in Vegas right now training for a UFC fight. There is UFC tonight. I'll give you a bet for that in a second. Another show that has a name, by the way, you can see it in the top right corner, is the Friday Night Zone Blitz. It was the Friday Night Blitz. We added, 2-3 hours of programming from the usual 45 minutes. So we added really 3 hours and 15 minutes. And we added a word. It went from the Friday Night Blitz to the Friday Night Zone Blitz. Now we're zone blitzing. We've got people in zone. Nick Petty's in the zone more times than not, filming one of the games. I'm in the zone in the back. Stuart and Brent bring you the show. And it is a big, major production that you can see Fridays at 8. You can also see it if you're watching the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network right after this show ends. As soon as we say goodbye and I start losing money, as I do on the weekends, but I'm trying to get better at it, you will then, if you're not watching anywhere else, or you can just watch both, we will go right into the replay of the show from last night, which was absolutely fantastic. A lot of good finishes. We showed you the finish of Creekside Bartram live. We showed you a lot of peaks at a lot of different games. Nick, which game were you at? Were you at Mainland?
Yeah, Mainland Reigns.
That was a good one?
Yeah.
And any camera work you see on that was our guy Nick. Way to go, man.
Not my finest night, but it was all right.
You've said that every night so far.
I just always feel like I could be a little bit better.
Well, then just be a little bit better.
I'm trying here. It's week to week. I'm going to be back there in the thick of it with you next week.
You're going to be back with me?
Yeah, I'm Brian next week.
Oh, nice. We'll be doing it. Oh, you're directing the show?
Yeah.
I thought you meant Brian Middleton.
No.
You're being Brian Bendetti?
Uh-huh.
We're screwed.
If it's going like this one's going, yeah, it's going to be rough.
We are screwed. Join the Zone Blitz next week. You're going to see a major debacle live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7
I'm going to
network.
say all 5 shots up in about 3 seconds.
Dude,
I don't know which one I'm going to.
It is a mess, and I'm not a good producer. Like, you ask Bendetti, I'll be like, let's go to 34. He's like, I can't. I'm like, 32. It's bad.
Like,
So-
I listened into you guys last night. It's just the chaos of that show.
Oh, dude, it's a mess.
But
It's a mess.
it's so fun to watch.
The coolest, if your kid plays high school football, your neighbor, somebody, your son or daughter's in the band. We show the bands at 11 to 11:15. It's a really, really cool show. What would be awesome, I think, is if we had a whole second crew, or at least 2 people, and they just recorded everything that happens behind the scenes. Like, wouldn't that be sick?
Yeah.
Like, if there was somebody with you guys when you guys are out in the field, like, 'cause I'm sure there's a debacle every 5 seconds. I have one every 5 seconds. Something's not loaded. I can't find something. We've named something
It was
the
me
wrong
with
thing.
the rain last night. Like, it would off and on
Yep.
kind of spritz it rains. So at one point, I'm like, I've got the bag on it. And I'm like, well, I got to feed back my stuff from the first game. Take the bag off, feed it back. It starts to rain. I'm like, you had to rain right now. So then I get the second bag. I get my live pack covered.
Mhm.
It's like, ugh. It's like the entire night it was something. One second or the other. I was like, ah.
And that's the other thing, like, people don't realize. Like, you guys I think every one of you guys went to 2 games yesterday.
Yeah.
So, like, they go to an early game, and by they, I mean Nick, the fantastic photog. We've got Olivia
New name
Castley,
alert.
Jason Hamby, Marcel Robinson does the game of the week, obviously. Stuart and Brent both go get games before the show. You've got a couple other photogs shooting games at times. I mean, it's a major, major production that we're just pulling together. I do very little compared to what everybody else is doing. I mean, I have to produce the whole thing, so some people get to go home before me. That's fine, no big deal. But it really is a cool show, and it is up next on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network in about 47 minutes or so as we continue to run long. But the best part about a show with no name, we can talk about whatever we want to. And we talked about the Friday Night Zone Blitz, so shout out to the boys. Speaking of the boys, Saints, Cowboys. The bet in that one is the Dallas Cowboys -6.5. Saints had a big showing. It's because they played not an NFL team. They played the Panthers. I don't believe their offense is actually as good as it was, putting up 40 whatever points they did. I think Dallas is pretty solid. Dallas at home is a different animal. A lot of teams play different at home, especially when you get that home field advantage. I mentioned about Minnesota. Their home field advantage is not enough to overtake the home field of the San Francisco 49ers. I think the home field advantage for Dallas, the way Dak is playing, CeeDee Lamb, their defense is better at home. You heard Trayvon Diggs, you may not have, when asked what challenges Chris Olave presents. Chris Olave, good receiver. Trayvon Diggs said, none. So that might come back to bite him, but I still think the Cowboys.
What's the line for Olave? I'm smashing the over.
The receiving yards prop?
Yeah.
You're really all because of the comment?
Yes.
Interesting.
It's any time somebody says something like that, it comes back to haunt me.
59.5.
Oh, I'm over.
I will say this with Trayvon
60
Diggs.
yards for Olave.
You would think. But here's the thing with Diggs. He's a very good player. It's boom or bust.
Yeah.
And 60 yards for Olave. I said it earlier with the it's a broken tackle. Olave is one busted coverage from 60 yards. He's a big play guy. So I don't hate it. I just don't love it. I think the Cowboys comfortably win by a touchdown at home over the Saints. Giants, Commanders, it will be terrible. I'll spend no time on it. Brian Robinson, anytime touchdown. Plug your nose, place the bet, move on. If the Commanders are going to score, it's going to be him. They now have a running quarterback, which makes things a little more difficult. He dominated the carries in week 1 over Austin Eckler, so anytime touchdown, you get plus money on Brian Robinson, who crazy. Remember when he got shot? That's crazy. And then Ricky Pearsall got shot? That's crazy. What kind of world are we living in, folks? Seahawks, Patriots. Kenneth Walker, I'm guessing, is now going to be out because you cannot get any odds on him. I don't know if he was officially ruled out, which is another debacle for my dynasty team because that team sucks as well because I drafted Najee Harris over Christian McCaffrey. I have Kenneth Walker, which was a good pick, but it sounds like he's not going to play in the football game. Patriots, a lot of bit surprising, I should say, in week 1. Seahawks coming all the way to New England, another West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. The easiest thing for me here is Joey Sly, 1.5 field goals, the kicker. If you play fantasy football, you may know this. Kickers absolutely dominated week 1. You had multiple kickers in like the 15-point range. Joey Sly was not one of them. Joey Sly actually was one of them. He had 3 field goals in the first week for the New England Patriots. He also had a PAT. So there's been a lot of field goals. That's what you get. The Seahawks do still play a little bit of defense, and the Patriots are not good. I get it. They looked a little bit better than they were last week. I think Joey Sly over 1.5 field goals returns you plus money. I feel pretty good about that. Rams-Cardinals, this one I don't fully understand as you get into the 4 o'clock window. The Rams lose in week 1. They take the Lions pretty much to the edge. I think the Rams are a good football team. The Cardinals blow an early season win. Rams money line, plus money, because the Cardinals are at home. There's probably more there that I just am not paying attention to. Puka Nacua will not play, but I don't think it's that. By the way, dynasty team Puka Nacua, he's now on the IR. So my fantasy football teams suck, bro, and it's week 2. It's like week 2, and I have no hope. I hate it.
You sound like a Florida State fan.
Dude, I'm a Florida fan, and it's basically the same thing. We'll get there.
You have a little hope right now.
We'll get there in just a second. But plus 100 even or returning plus money if you are interested in the Rams money line over the Cardinals, like I am. Bucks Lions, another spread I'm going here for the pick. The spread is 7.5. Maybe I just like the Bucks more than everybody else, but I think the Bucks are pretty good. Like, I think you can buy into the Bucks. Covering the touchdown and the half is big. Are the Rams blowing out the Bucks? I don't think so. Like, I think the Bucks are good enough to hang around. You're not with me.
You said Rams, it's Lions.
Lions, my bad.
That's what I'm just like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm just an idiot is what it comes down to, which it makes more sense. But still, the Lions, I don't think the Lions are blowing out the Bucks. I believe in the Bucks a little more than I think everybody else. 7.5. The half is big. If you're not getting the half, I would question it. But I think the Lions probably win by a touchdown in reality, but I think the Bucks cover the 7.5 if it is indeed the half as they go to Detroit. Again, Detroit coming off with a big win, but I like the Bucks a little bit. A line that is moving is the Bengals and the Chiefs. We will have to pick it. We will pick it on the original line that we used, not the current line. The current line is 6, so it is moving in a +6 for the Bengals. The Chiefs now -6, which is uncomfortable, I think, if you're betting the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have not looked fantastic. They do have a problem beating the Bengals. They've done it, but they have not done it a lot. Joe Burrow, it did not look good last week. T. Higgins, I believe, will not play again. You cannot get odds on him for anything. So it will be a questionable go for the Chiefs and the Bengals, both teams. Not good, not great. Somebody will have to win. But if you're talking about the spread and what may make some sense, I don't think the 6 is something you want to do with the Chiefs. Would just be my guess because of the history and what we know about the two teams. I'm going to receiver prop on this one as well. Xavier Worthy, big week. I know a lot of it came in the rushing game, but 2.5 is the number for catches. It is going to move, by the way, is my guess before kickoff, because a lot of people are hitting that just looking at the odds. So if you want Xavier Worthy, I would get him now at 2.5, because I won't say I'm concerned about Travis Kelce, but I think we may be past the dominating Travis Kelce 10 targets a game guy. I think we're past that. Hollywood Brown goes on IR, so you won't have him for a bit. Rashee Rice is clearly the number 1 receiver, but Worthy's explosive. So I think you can start to lean that way. Someone's going to have to get the football. They are going to throw it. Pacheco is a big-time back. He's turned into that guy. He scores a lot of touchdowns. There's no value on his touchdown prop. So I like Worthy. I think he gets the catches. I think he'll get it done and cash that one if you're interested. Steelers-Broncos in Denver. The Steelers are -2.5 on the road. Again, another game dominated by kickers last week. Boswell drilling multiple 50-yarders, so shout out to him for that. And I think it's as simple, again, as that this week. Chris Boswell, 1.5 field goals is the bet in that one.
Altitude is going to help you kick. Steelers' offense is still questionable no matter who's at quarterback. Again, you win last week mostly because of field goals, and Atlanta really couldn't get it together in that football game. So I like the field goals in that one in terms of 1.5 for Chris Boswell. Your Sunday night game, the team that didn't score an offensive touchdown last week in the Bears, as they head to play the Texans. I think you're going spread again. 6.5 for the Texans. I think they cover that. They win by a touchdown. So I think your bet in that one is just simply the Texans to win the football game by 6.5 points. And I go the exact same thing on Monday night because the spread is 6.5 for the Eagles. This is not a Jason Hamby show. I do not believe in Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. No chance in that. I think the Eagles comfortably beat them by a touchdown. So that's all the games. Oh, there's one game I did not do. That is my fault.
Nope.
I always put them at the top.
Nope. Uh-oh.
Do you know which game I forgot? Think about where we are.
Oh, the Jags.
Forgot about the Jags. Forgot about the Jacksonville Jaguars. My fault. The spread is now 3 when we pick the game here in a couple minutes. That is a different number. It's moving is what I'm getting at. There was a half. There is no half. 3 points is the line. The Browns will be without pretty much everybody. Deshaun Watson will play, which may be a bad thing for the Browns because it's been ugly. David Njoku out. The tackles, I believe, are out. Jags will be without some pieces as well. You know by now Savage will not play in the football game. You know by now Tyson Campbell is on IR. That part will be questionable for the Jags, but you don't have to worry about – I shouldn't say don't have to worry about, but I don't think you have to worry a ton about a huge passing attack from the Browns. The Browns like to be physical and run the football. Obviously, no Nick Chubb. Amari Cooper will be one to watch in terms of the receiving game, but I don't think he's taking over a game and destroying you if you're the Jags in a beat-up secondary. But this is the Jags. We have seen pretty much everything from these Jags. We saw last week something that ended up being not good at all, in a absolute collapse again, and you lose a football game in Miami that you should have won. But one good thing you did see last week was Brian Thomas Jr. And it's inexplainable why he didn't have a target in the second half. I don't think that will happen again, which is why I think getting plus money on over 3.5 catches is wild. Jags are going to run the ball. I get it. There are 3 receivers and a tight end, and I think that is at some point going to hurt you if you're betting on the Jags. I think at any given time, you could look at the receivers, and whoever's giving you the best value on scoring a touchdown from the wide receiver position for the Jags, you could put money on to score. But I think when you're talking about receptions, Brian Thomas Jr. has proven in one game, which, by the way, he caught 4 passes in the first half last week, which would have hit the number of 3.5. He's proven he's pretty good. And they're going to continue to develop that. Trevor wants to get him the football. 3.5 catches plus money on it, I think, is a no-brainer. Brian Thomas is catching 4 passes, which makes 3.5 be the over. And I think it will hit. Are you in on Brian Thomas Jr., Nick?
Yeah, in the first half. I think he hits it in the first half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're down a lot. I mean, the Browns have a couple guys in the back end of the defense that can be good. But like you said, 3 receivers and a tight end is going to keep them spread out wide, and it's going to be hard to cover.
I agree. I agree with that for sure. So those are the NFL games. I call them the best bets from each game that I like. We'll keep track. We'll see what ends up coming out of it and see if I'm any good at this. I may not be, but we'll see. We've got picks to make here in just a little bit as we transition to college football and the slate this week. We mentioned it a minute ago, but about an hour ago at this point, but some of the highlighted games, Alabama, Wisconsin, we never did the research on that. Sorry about it, Nick. I tried my best. You've got Boston College, Missouri, which is a 12:45 kick. When they scheduled this game on the SEC network, they thought nobody would care. All of a sudden, Missouri is... Am I reading this right? Missouri's the...
Hold on.
Is this college football? Am I looking at college something else? Missouri's the 6th best team in the nation?
Yes, it is. It is.
This is college football I'm looking at?
College football, not field hockey.
Missouri's number 6.
Missouri is 6th.
Sneaky good game on the SEC network at 12:45. Boston College ranked 24th. They get a win over Florida State. Shout out to them for that. Oregon State, if you care about that type of thing. Miami's all the way up to number 10, which, if you're keeping track, is 4 spots behind Missouri. They'll host Ball State. Hey, Miami, play a real football team. Why don't you? Notre Dame, Purdue. Notre Dame, what a debacle last week, but they will try to get back on track at Purdue. Texas A&M, Florida, which you know all about when we will get to here in just a second. You got Ole Miss, Wake Forest, which is okay, but it's an interesting matchup. Again, I like when two teams that are solid. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ole Miss is very good. Wake Forest has been good. They're a brand for the ACC. So I think those are good when those two teams get together. I'd much rather watch a game that's two established teams versus Ole Miss and, like, Georgia State. No offense, Georgia State, but I'm not in on anything like that. So that's one that will come up in the later window. Texas has UTSA. Oh, boy. Georgia, Kentucky. Stop me if you've heard this before. Another Georgia player arrested for a driving violation. Holy yikes. Tennessee will play Kent State. I imagine Nick in the daytime will be watching that one. Not a huge marquee slate, but you do have some pretty good football games. In terms of the state of Florida, Florida State will host Memphis. Mike Norvell's old versus Mike Norvell's current. YB said a little bit ago, I'm an FSU fan. I might go with Memphis plus the points. The points in that one are 6.5. Florida State is favored by. Do we think Florida State's winning by a touchdown over Memphis? This is going to be like the Super Bowl for Memphis, by the way.
Quarterback versus quarterback? No. I think Memphis has the better quarterback.
Interesting.
I mean, he's a 4-year starter. The guy threw for 3,000 and change last year in a pretty good season. We've seen all that we're going to see from DJ.
I agree with that.
If we're putting the quarterbacks out there and that's who we're going to bet on as to why they'll win the game, give me Memphis all day.
So I don't think you're wrong there. By the way, Memphis 2-0 with a 40-0 win over North Alabama, 38-17 win over Troy. First road game will be this week against Florida State. I don't think you're wrong with that, but part of me says, doesn't Florida State have to win at some point?
Yeah.
Like, Florida State's not going 0-3, are they? Are they? Like, I don't know. I feel like I would be, not because of the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to do with anybody playing football. I'd be stunned if Florida State started the season 0-3. But maybe they will.
I mean, they got a couple winnable games after this. The thing is, they have to win this one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, is Norvell going to lose the entire locker room of the transfer guys that aren't guys he recruited, that aren't homegrown talent guys that are in that locker room for him?
Sure.
Does he lose the locker room at that point?
It's possible.
And then it get real ugly after that.
Things come at you fast in college football. Think about where Florida State was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Things come at you fast, man. 6.5 is intriguing for Memphis. I don't think YB's too far off. I think you're kind of on that same page as well. Florida State can win the football game still, but they may not win it by 6 points or by 7 points, which would mean Memphis would cash if you go the 6.5 for them. I mentioned Miami. They will play Ball State. The number is Miami minus 36.5. These are the sneaky fun ones to bet on, just when the spreads are so high. Are they winning by 37? I'm not asking you to pretend like you know what's going on with Ball State football. But 37 is a lot of points. The over-under is 54.5. We used to track this on the radio. I'll track it here for you now. Nick, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Ball State, Miami. Miami is the 10th ranked team in the
Miami of Florida, Miami of Ohio.
This is Miami of the U. The little picture says the U. ACC Network 330, Miami. Nice stadium. Great weather, I would assume. Maybe rain, I don't know. I don't really care. Hard Rock Stadium. A lot of people live in Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
I now ask you, Nick, what's the cheapest ticket for this football game, according to, I believe this is Vivid Seats. According to ESPN's verified ticket partner, Vivid Seats, how cheap could we go to this football game if I bought tickets? I'm looking at it.
Miami's hot. Tickets are going to be up. Nosebleeds, $125.
125. You locking that in?
Mm-hmm.
Nick, I'm telling you, upper level 351, row 14, 2 tickets. Me and you sit next to each other. $3 a piece. $3 a piece.
What?
$3.
Well, what was the Panthers game? It was like you go for like 50 cents or something stupid. Like the
Yes.
price for the Panthers game the other day was ridiculous. I was thinking they'd be hotter.
$3.
Interesting. I mean, it's Ball State. Obviously, it makes sense. I was thinking like the team's hot. Well, it's $3. Is that before or after all of the
That's before.
The fees.
That's before.
Well, I'm probably right with the fees.
I mean, the
I'm
$3.
closer with the fees.
The posted ticket price is $3 to get
wild.
in if you would like to see Miami and Ball State. Tickets are a little bit more expensive if you want to go to the Swamp, Texas A&M, and Florida 3:30 on ABC. Texas A&M, the favorite on the road by 3 points. What was the stat you had earlier about Texas A&M on the road?
10-game road game losing streak.
10-game road game losing streak. Florida's a debacle right now. Week 1 was bad. Week 2 was great, but hey, you played Sanford. Settle down. DJ Lagway may be the savior. He may save the Gators program. He may save Billy Napier's job. He may just be good because they played Sanford, to be honest with you. We don't know the answer to that. But what we do know, as of an hour ago, which may be the dumbest decision that I've ever seen, ever heard, I understand why you're doing it. Graham Mertz will start at quarterback for the Florida Gators in this football game. He came back. He has played good soldier. He played good football last year. Here's the deal. They don't win when Graham Mertz is their quarterback against real teams. They proved it to you last year. They proved it to you in week 1. This is a bad decision by Billy Napier. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. I said this yesterday with Hamby. I think you have to go with Lagway. I think Lagway just brings another element to the team that makes him a little bit more explosive. Billy can run the offense he wants to run. Makes him more dynamic. Makes it harder to defend not only the quarterback, the running back, also the passing game. I think it just gives a wrinkle or two to Florida's offense again that Mertz doesn't. And I think Lagway's the guy that you should walk out there with. I mean, if Billy intends to try and keep his job,
Which you would assume.
roll the dice.
Mm-hmm.
Start this guy. Give it everything you got and see what happens. I think he gives him a better shot to win than Mertz. And would be what can course correct the season.
I agree.
For Florida. So starting Mertz, like I agree. He's the more experienced guy. It's a big game. Billy's probably like at the same time being cautious now. He's like, the seat's getting hot. And pay the guy that's got more experience against a harder team than Sanford. And see if he can get us started. And if he's going, and if Mertz goes in for a couple drives and is fine, Lagway's never getting in the game.
I hope you're wrong, but you may be right.
If Florida goes out, puts up 10 points over 3 drives, plays a clean game, and Mertz has got a solid stat line through those 3 drives of like 100 yards on whatever and whatever, Lagway's not getting in the game unless he's hurt or something just drastically changes and A&M rips off 28, and then Billy's like flips a switch, panic mode, and goes Lagway.
Yeah, I mean, I think DJ Lagway will play because, first of all, I don't think Florida's going up 10-0 in any capacity against anybody the rest of the season. So I think there is that. But I think this made perfect sense for DJ Lagway to start and play because Sanford is one thing, Texas A&M is another. I get it. But at the same time, Texas A&M is not great.
No.
You're at home. Like, I feel like you very rarely get to introduce, and I get it, he will play in the football game, but to introduce your true freshman quarterback to the big time in this way. Sanford wasn't big time. It was 7:46 or some stupid time on SEC Network. This is 3:30 on ABC against Texas A&M, an SEC game. And you're at home. The crowd will be behind you. Everybody wants to see you. By the way, bad situation for Mertz. If they go 3 and out, they're going to be chanting for DJ Lagway, just so you know. So that'll be a tough pill to swallow.
First play loses yardage, DJ. It's one
I don't
play.
disagree.
They probably will say it at kickoff. We want DJ.
And for Graham Mertz, he's been very safe with the football. Don't even consider throwing it to the other team on the first drive.
Yeah.
You will never play another down of college football, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think this is a mistake by Billy Napier. He's made a lot of them as the head coach of Florida. I think this is another one. You start the kid. I get it. It's hard to pull him if it's not going well versus if it's not going well for Mertz. It's easier to pull him and put Lagway in because you don't want to pull Lagway. I get that part of it. But, dude, it's week 3, and you might be on the hottest of seats in college football.
Yeah.
And you've got to get this thing to work. And if you lose this football game because you start Graham Mertz, you don't score early, and you lose by 7 or 3, and it's because you didn't score at all in the first quarter and you had the wrong quarterback in there, then it's just not going to be good for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. Ultimately, who do you think wins the football game? Not the spread, just Texas. Who's walking out the winner?
It's such a hard game for me to pick. There's Weigman. There's guys on offense for A&M.
Mhm.
I mean, Elko did good things with Duke,
Mhm.
but I can see if Lagway goes in, give me like a 3-point win for Florida. It's going to be like some dogfight down to the last minute. If Mertz plays the entire game, maybe A&M wins because I don't think he gives them enough edge to be at A&M. I think A&M's the better overall team. I still think Florida's got stuff on the roster to make them competitive, especially at the running back position. We keep talking so much about the quarterback. How do the running backs stack up?
That's fair.
That's kind of the next thing. It's like, are they going to stack up okay, or do we need to be more concerned about it? So it's so hard for me to pick. I really don't know.
Well, we will have to pick it at the next
Give me
segment.
Florida.
Oh my goodness, give me Florida. I'm not with you at all.
I mean, I said 8. What did I say? They can rattle off 6 wins.
You
3
did,
weeks ago
but
in the
that
coldest take.
Yeah, that was foul.
I'm gonna die on that hill. Let me say Florida by 3.
You are gonna die on that hill. There is no doubt about that.
That's
By the
my
way,
last stand.
cheapest ticket. How cheap you think we could get in? There's 2 tickets available.
I was way wrong the last one. Probably gonna be way wrong this one. It's an SEC game, 3:30 prime kick. Lots of Florida fans are. Give me 105.
$18.
What the? Who? What? How is it $18?
$18 get you in.
Now, okay. Admittedly, I paid, I think, $200 for where I sat for the Tennessee game last year. Now that's lower bowl, like right before you start to get, I guess, what's technically the second level.
Okay.
And I think I paid $200 for that. So maybe that's
No, we're talking in the sun the whole
nosebleeds?
game. $324. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
$18.
$18 makes more sense.
Yeah. I mean, still though, huh? Pretty crazy.
I mean, I even paid for a ticket. I think $45 for Neyland against Western Carolina, in what I didn't know at the time was the very top row, but is the very top row of Neyland Stadium. Terrifying seat.
I believe
$45.
that. I believe that.
So I'm shocked at the $18 for an SEC matchup.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But $18 you can go. Georgia, Kentucky, anything? This is just business as usual, right?
Yeah, 100%.
For the Georgia
The
Bulldogs.
Kentucky line's terrible. Vandegrift didn't give him an edge.
That guy, huh?
Yeah. I that's the thing. Like Kentucky won the first game. I thought it's South Carolina. I'm thinking Vandegrift's going to be the guy. It's going to give Kentucky a shot. 8-4, 9-3, 10-2, even in a wild season for them. Nah, business as usual.
Business as usual.
Georgia's going to roll about 28 or more.
Spread's 22.
Oh,
So you're in on Georgia minus 22?
Yeah.
How about that?
Even with Vandegrift knowing possibly bits and pieces of the playbook.
He don't even know his own playbook.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
He's probably getting confused, thinking, wait a minute, this is not what Bobo called. Wait, Bobo's not your OC no more, dude.
That's fair. That's a good
If
point.
Bobo's even the OC in Georgia anymore, I don't even know.
I'll agree, though, business as usual. USF, talking about Florida again, USF, Southern Miss. USF sneaky good. They're 12-point favorites on the road against Southern Miss. There was one other Florida game I wanted to hit. Florida International at Florida Atlantic. The battle of
Forgotten?
South Florida.
Oh.
That's not Miami. The battle of second place in South Florida, I should put it that way. My friend went to FAU, so shout out to the Owls.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Owls.
I think FIU is like the Panthers or something.
They are the Panthers. They play at Pitbull Stadium, but this one will be at FAU. FAU, sneaky nice campus, by the way. Don't know if you've ever been down there, but sneaky nice. Bethune-Cookman, Western Michigan. If you're talking about the Florida teams, they will have to go to Kalamazoo, Michigan. That does not sound fun at
Bet the weather's great, though.
all. Great's a stretch, though, huh?
The weather in New York last week before last, was great.
I can't explain to you how not close together Kalamazoo,
But
Michigan.
I'm talking like latitude.
Yeah,
They're
that's
probably
fair.
on the same, like, across the top, so the weather's going to be similar. But
Let's see. Kalamazoo, Michigan, you're talking 79 degrees, 0% precipitation. That's actually pretty nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful day.
That's quality. Yeah, beautiful. Settle down. It's quality.
Get a nice little breeze come through, cools it off. Yeah, it's perfect.
Colorado State. Colorado, the debacle last week. We missed that one in the picks because I was a Colorado believer. Clearly, I'm the idiot. 7.5-point favorites against Colorado State. Are you in? Do you care?
I'm not in.
Do you care at all?
Do I care?
Like,
I care to see Colorado State win because I just want Colorado, with everything I've heard in the last week, to just not win a game the rest of the year. Like, if the whole
That's a
bit
bold take.
about we can't play the fight song after Shedeur gets a touchdown, we got to play his rap song.
I mean, he said it's fake. I mean, Dion said that it wasn't true. But
Oh,
who
I was about to
knows?
say, if that is true, but it's different now. So, but even like
The optics aren't
pulling
great.
Shedeur in the third or fourth quarter when they were down,
That part wasn't great.
how he takes the press conference after the game,
It also wasn't great.
the talk at the coin toss, like this team has such a massive ego.
And they're not very good.
No,
I agree with this. Like, here's my thing with this. I believe that this could work. And I will be extremely intrigued to see what Deion Sanders is as a head coach without his son as the quarterback. Because
100%.
I don't think that Deion
Who do they even have on the roster?
I don't know what that looks like. But what I do know is I think it will be extremely different than when his kid is the quarterback. And I hope we get to that point because the Colorado thing intrigues me. Deion Sanders as a head coach intrigues me. I also think Travis Hunter, I will turn this game on because I think Travis Hunter is worth the price of admission, which I will ask you about in just a second, the price of admission for this game. But, I want to watch him play. Offense, defense. I'm less with, Shedeur and the moxie, the stuff.
Yeah.
I just really like watching Travis Hunter play football, and that's
He
what
is a
I'll
great
tune
athlete.
in for. But I guess what I mean by do you care is do you have – and I know they're on at the same time Tennessee, so take that part out of it. If Tennessee was not on 15 minutes later and the other games that were on around this time, Nebraska's playing and nobody, Georgia, Kentucky would be on at this time, Indiana, UCLA, and then you've got Colorado State, Colorado. Would you flip it on? Does it intrigue you enough to see what's happening, or would you rather watch what you know is going to happen in a Georgia game?
See, here's the thing. I know the outcome of the Georgia game. It's going to be 28 or better. Georgia win over Kentucky because they're terrible. And I hate it. As much as Kentucky's given us fits in the last 10 years, it's still a team I like to play and watch. But the animosity around Colorado for me is why I want to watch the game.
Okay.
And for whatever span of time this game's going to take, I'm a Colorado State fan.
Interesting.
So I'm rooting for Jay Norvell and the Rams. So, yeah, I would 100%. But it's also because it's a spectacle that's just drawing eyeballs to it.
Mhm.
I'm sure the ratings around Colorado the last season and this year have been better than what they were the 10 years prior because of what Deion's brought just in eyeballs.
Definitely.
And
100%.
pulling that in.
I would never watch I would never even consider watching Colorado do anything.
No.
Nothing at all.
But, yeah, I mean, just for the sole fact of what Colorado's kind of become and just this thing that it is now would 100% draw me to watch the game. Where you've got, Deion doing everything. And I remember, they were running highlights of this game last year. They had Lil Wayne at this game.
Yes.
So
This was a big one last year.
Yeah.
A little bit of controversy at the end, too.
Well, the whole thing was, controversial. The end with the hit and how the game was played. And even Norvell going into the game was when I talk to adults, I take my glasses and hat off. We
That's
get
right.
it, guy, but calm down.
That's right.
So, yeah, in the build-up for it, I would 100% watch this if Tennessee's not playing at that time. There's nothing else to watch. Or, if the games that are on, I'm it's not intriguing because it's going to be a beatdown. It's no fun to watch. Because I'm not a fan of the team that's just racking up points.
True. I hear you. All right. Cheapest ticket to get in. Remember what we've done so far. $3 to get into Miami, whatever I said, $14 to get into Florida, or whatever I said, 18. Cheapest ticket to get in, and Fort Collins, Colorado. The Colorado State Rams, the home team, playing the Buffs. How cheap can we get in?
Probably hard to get to. Big game.
I like how you rationalize it.
I've been wrong. Well, see, I've not rationalized enough the last two. It's it was 125 the first, 105. I'm going down, but I'm not going to 80. I'm going $32.
$32 to see the Buffs and the Rams. I believe, as I quickly check this.
I didn't even mean to get that right.
I didn't say you got it right.
Oh, dang. Oh, well.
Yes, it is the most expensive college football ticket today at $151.
What?
$151. Listen, man, You can be in, you cannot be in. People want to see it. People want to see it.
And it's just going to pull the ticket money off Dion and what that team's become. It makes more sense than the last two.
Yeah.
Word of the day to anybody watching, don't listen to me today. I'm wrong on everything.
Dude's been struggling. Nebraska, they're playing Northern Iowa, but I'm intrigued by Nebraska. I want Matt Rule to do well. I don't know why. Honestly, I don't really have any clue. I kind of like the guy.
Well, he was at Temple before Carolina, right?
Yes.
Was it Temple or Boston College?
He was at Temple, but wasn't he somewhere else too? He was at Temple, though. I forget. But yeah, he went to Carolina. Then that was obviously terrible. Baylor. He was at Baylor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he made Baylor legit for a moment.
Yeah. I like the guy. I don't know why. I don't really have any reason to. I'd like to see them do well. So
I think he got done dirty in Carolina, so I do want to see him do good.
yeah, he definitely did. But like, if you think about it,
Anyone's getting done dirty in Carolina.
well,
right
he
now
got out.
at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
He saw the writing on the wall. So I'm out of here.
they hired Frank
Goodbye.
Reich and then already fired him, and now it's really bad. And for all I know, Nebraska may be better than the Carolina Panthers. I have no idea. But the Nebraska thing is kind of fun. They've never been good in my lifetime, so shout out to them for finally pulling it together. What do you got on Tennessee? Kent State.
I mean, it's favored by 49. I don't know what the total points are, but
They are 62.5. And by the way, it's 49.5 now, so they're thinking
Oh.
Tennessee's going to win by 50. That's a lot of points.
I don't want to say it's a trap game, but I can see some guys getting a little
It's 50
sleepy.
point spread. I don't think it's a trap game.
But, well, we got OU next week. So are they looking ahead to that, worrying about that game?
The Corey
Or-
Sima Bowl.
Yeah.
Let's try to get Corey in here to talk smack with you next week.
Might have to.
I like
Might have
Corey.
to get him in on a ninja feed.
Good guy.
But yeah, I just maybe some guys, some freshmen get a little sleepy. I don't think it will be Nico to be one of those guys to get a little sleepy and look ahead. He might.
Mm-hmm.
I think they cover ultimately.
You think they're winning by 50?
Look at the offense.
50 is a lot of points, dude.
I don't remember who. I didn't think they would roll 51 on NC State.
That's fair.
I didn't think they would win by 41. I thought it was going to be a closer game, and I was genuinely concerned that they might have lost the game. Like, it was a game that I was like, all right, here's the first semi-test of the season. If you can play this neutral site game in Carolina against NC State and win it, you're fine. You're at 2-0. You're going to go 3-0 when you go to OU. If you can walk into Norman and get a win, you're going to be 5-0 when you hit Florida. You got Florida at home. Florida looks abysmal.
Yep.
But it's still Florida, still talent, and they're going to play the Tennessee game hard. So there's a chance to lose that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm going to cover. I mean, they rolled 69 on Chattanooga. They put 51 on NC State. Why wouldn't they clip 50 on Kent State, who is an abysmal team, who's always been perennially bad?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a lot of points.
But they're gonna let. Here's why, like, the total point thing is why I wouldn't maybe bet. I'll take the 49.5, but not the total points. No, wait, the total points thing would actually work better. Forgetting it's math, you got to add things.
Yeah, total points 62.5. So between the two teams,
They're
going to
give Kent State like a touchdown and a field goal. They'll give them 10. They'll give them 13. They'll give them something.
So you're somewhere in the range of 63 to 10, 63-13, 64-14. That's kind of where you're at.
Yeah, give or take.
That's a lot.
But look at, I mean,
I know.
they've done it before.
That's just a lot.
It is, but I mean, it's an offense that's going to score.
They have
There's
proven
too
that.
many weapons, and that was the thing about NC State last week. They came out in like big formation. I think it was like, I can't remember. It was 22 maybe, 2 tight ends, 1 running back, whatever that is, 12, 20. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
And just it worked. It worked really well in the run game, in the pass game, play action. It opened up a lot of things, and that was on NC State that had a decent defense. That's going to be a better defense than Kent State.
Yeah.
With better talent than Kent State.
You may be right. I won't doubt
hope
you.
I'm right.
I mean, bros, Tennessee head to toe. I won't doubt you one bit. So those are the bigger. Oh, chance to go 0-4. Cheapest ticket to get in. This is your team. These are your people. Kent State, Tennessee, Neyland Stadium, Knoxville, Tennessee, 7:45 p.m. How cheap can we get in? Cheapest ticket.
$20.
0 for 4, 46.
What? Well, Tennessee's hot 7th. Okay, fine.
You're not good at this.
Fine. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, we'll
But
keep it up.
going back to what I said, cheapest ticket. I paid $40 against Western Carolina.
There you go.
I should have went with what I knew.
Yeah, dude, you should have been a lot closer. I think you just gave up. I think you got
kinda.
mad. $20.
Just slap a 20 down.
All right. Here's the deal. We got to make picks.
Okay.
We don't have time to run both of those videos, so we're gonna run Brent and Austin's video in a second.
Okay.
But here's the deal. So if you watch the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, which is where we are right now, during the week, every day, in the morning time, 6 to 10. I think 6 to 10. Say
Yeah.
it with confidence, even if you're wrong. 6 to 10.
Miller and Moulton.
Miller and Moulton. They make picks. We'll tell you them in a second. 10 to 1. Confident on this one. Brent and Austin. 4 to 6. Young and Norvell. Patrick Young, Terry Norvell. And us. I don't know how we got in on this billing, but we did because I guess gambling show. And we will compete against each other. I'm not sure what the ultimate losers will do, but we're not going to be the ultimate losers, which is why this is important. But we're all competing against each other. Last week, Miller and Moulton was 3-3. They are in DFL. You can figure out what that means for yourself. I cannot say it. There are two teams tied at 4-2. That's us. I made the picks without you. And the Young and Norvell show. Brent and Austin at 5-1. So what we're going to do is play you the picks that Brent and Austin made on their show on Friday. We will then tell you what Miller and Moulton have picked and what Young and Norvell have picked. We will then make our picks, and we will get out of here all the next 8 minutes. So, Nick, without further ado, what did Brent and Austin pick? Let's see it.
We got to get to these picks before we get out of here. Let's do it, guys. So it's a group effort. We were 5-1 last week. Nice job. In first place in the early go. And other guys 4-2.
But Brent says we were like he even had any kind of contribution. You're the last guy to always talk. You're like, yeah, okay, let's go with that. That sounds good.
Listen, I'm the rubber stamp guy, man. Like I got the name. Boom. Let's go.
Okay.
Texas A&M and Florida. I got to be honest with you guys. I have a funny feeling that Florida might win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like the points here, so I will lead the way, which is crazy to think. But A&M with their quarterback situation too, right? Isn't he banged up? And
He's just not good.
And he's not good anyway. I'm just saying, Texas A&M is not that good. And didn't we learn that from Notre Dame beating them at their place and then Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois?
Well, don't transit proper to me.
I know, but I can for this argument.
That's true.
I think the Gators are going to win. Never mind just cover the 3.5.
I'm with them, as much as I hate to say it.
Okay, well, I was going to go with Texas A&M, but you guys seem pretty sold on this. So
yeah, well, we saw what happened to that parlay yesterday.
All right, so yeah, let's go with UF. Even though I'm just saying I wanted Texas A&M, but okay.
Okay, listen. This is a hard. Hamby's going to want UCF here because he's going to pick with his heart, even though he doesn't realize it. Austin. So let's start with you. UCF, TCU. I like going with UCF too. I'm a UCF fan,
oh my God,
but I don't. But I think it's a dangerous play here. I think TCU at home as a dog, same type of deal, right?
Correct. Yeah, I'm actually taking TCU here, especially at home. You know, beware of the hypno-toad, if you will. I like TCU here with getting positive odds at +2.5.
Hamby, this is like Kirk Herbstreit treatment. Like you just get out. Right, you can't even get in this one because you're calling the game. No, you're watching the game.
I was going to go with last man wins and go ahead and do my vote, but no problem.
Do you like UCF here, even though we're not going to take it?
Yeah, I really do. They run the football better than just about anybody. And I watched the Stanford game, and TCU doesn't have the front to stop them.
I've become a closet UCF fan a little bit.
I love that.
And so I would like to see them win this game, but I just don't see it at TCU. All right, LSU, South Carolina, kind of a big line for LSU, and nobody's really sure how good LSU is. Austin, what do you like?
Yeah, so I'm taking South Carolina here. They can pound the rock, and LSU is very susceptible to having the rock pounded on them, if you will. And you talk about a game in South Carolina. If it was 6.5, I'd feel a certain type of way about it. But since it's 7, a straight up touchdown, go and give me South Carolina at home.
Hamby, I'm impressed with the knowledge here of the LSU South Carolina game from Austin.
Oh, I love South Carolina here. I think, they dominated Kentucky on the road last week, gave up 6 points. Dylan Stewart, best edge true freshman in the country. Give me the Gamecocks.
All right, let's go to the NFL. We only got a couple minutes. Colts, Packers. Colts are a 3-point favorite at Lambeau. Is all because of Love, obviously. What do you think?
I mean, listen, I like the Colts here because what's the backup plan right now for Jordan Love, Brent?
I think it's Malik Willis, again? Right? Malik Willis.
Oh yeah, okay, exactly, yeah. So we've seen him play in Tennessee. We're all good. Go and give me the Colts -10 if I have to.
But the Packers have a good football team, Hamby. They have a good defense.
Yeah, but they got to score points, and Malik Willis just can't do it for me.
All right, so take the Colts on the road. Yeah. How about the Chiefs and the Bengals? Why do I feel like the Bengals, I don't think they're going to win, but they have the Chiefs number a bit, so shouldn't they keep this close, guys?
So this is my thing, Brent. This is my Cowboys-Browns pick from last week where I'm like, does Vegas know something that I don't? I'm not going with that again. I'm going with my gut right now. I'm going with the speed of Xavier Worthy. Travis Kelce wasn't even featured last game. I think they get him going. I'm taking the Chiefs at home.
All right,
give me the Chiefs.
And we'll take the Jags. I think we're going to take the Jags, right? We got to go.
Take the Jags. Yep.
All right. By the way, my best bet of the week, best bet each and every week. If you have a Survivor League, we picked the Bills last week. I'm going to take the Texans this week over the Bears at home on Sunday Night Football. That will be it.
All right. That was my fault. I didn't put any pad on it.
It's fine. I need a third hand back here right now for all this stuff anyway.
Oh, that's right. We got a debacle happening. You're doing a good job with it, Nick. All right. They picked theirs. Here's the situation. Miller and Moulton are taking Texas A&M, LSU, TCU, the Jags, the Chiefs, and the Colts. All the favorites. Oh, I'm bugging. That was Young and Norvell. I'm an idiot. I can't read. That is what Young and Norvell is taking. A&M, TCU, LSU, Jags, Chiefs, Colts. Miller and Moulton taking all the favorites. A&M, UCF, LSU, Jags, Chiefs, and the Colts.
Taking favorites? Across the board on both?
Not
Miller and Moulton.
Miller and Moulton's taking all the favorites. The only difference is Young and Norvell is taking TCU. Miller and Moulton's taking UCF. And now it's up to us. Texas A&M, Florida, 3.5. You think Florida, right?
Yep.
I think Texas A&M, so we got a debacle. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
I think the Gators stink, but I don't think TCU's that good either. Or Texas A&M, sorry.
They aren't.
So are you confident?
I'm confident by 3 points.
It's 3.5, Nick.
All right, 3.5, fine. They win by a touchdown, whatever.
No, they don't.
They don't, no. I just believe more in the talent that Florida has. It just doesn't mesh right now for some random reason.
All right. I'll side with you. But we will play this video next week when we're wrong. We're taking the Florida Gators plus 3.5, apparently. UCF, TCU. TCU's getting 2.5. What are we doing?
TCU. I don't believe in KJ Jefferson.
I like KJ Jefferson. All right, I'll go with you, TCU. LSU, South Carolina. They love South Carolina. I'm with you here. We're on LSU.
It's a more talented roster. They got Garrett Nussmeier. You've got you've got Dylan Stewart, but who have they played? The Kentucky line was terrible.
Mm-hmm. Dylan Stewart's good. I got mini helmets, by the way. They're on my eBay. Yeah, I'm with you. All right. So we're going Florida plus 2.5. We're going TCU plus 2.5. We're going LSU -7. Bengals, Chiefs. We're going off the number of 5.
Chiefs.
Colts, Packers. We're going off the number of 3.5 points for the Packers.
Not a Richardson believer. Give me the Colts, though.
Colts.
I believe in the defense.
I'm with you. Browns, Jags.
Jags. I'll believe in Trevor Lawrence till I'm dead.
All right. We'll take the Jags. That'll do it. Friday Night Zone Blitz coming up next. Watch the replay. It's a good show. Have a good weekend, folks.